Hey guys, this is Juno and welcome back to another account review. Now I didn't want to do another review, but I just couldn't stop myself from doing it for this account because it is pretty premium. This account asked for arena improvement and RTA improvement. Now he is in a little higher of a rank for RTA, and I did notify him that my results aren't guaranteed. I tell that because obviously you're paying for a service, and some people, if they are paying for it, they are expecting improvements, and that's just something that I cannot guarantee. I'm also human. The boxes are different for everybody. To be fair, I'm pretty rusty this season because I haven't been playing RTA much. I was a lot more busier with work and with my daughter. I just couldn't get the time to play my own RTA. But he was fine with it. He just still wanted me to look at it, and to be fair, his highest rank was P1. And he thinks he could get P3 G1 or even higher. Now, I know a lot of players think that they could do better, and in many cases they can. You know, going to that Guardian rank is a different story. But I was wrong. I think this account does have the Rune quality to get Guardian. His box, obviously, no question. He has a lot of fun toys. So I wanted to show it to you guys. Maybe you guys could justify it as well if you get Guardian or not. But let's look at it together and give him the confidence that he needs. I hope the changes I make in RTA can give him a little push. If not, I'm hoping some people that watches this video can also put down some pointers. Hey guys, before we start the video, if you guys are interested in getting advice and help from me and other Summoners War players, feel free to join my Discord, where the link is in the descriptions below. Also, if you enjoy my content and want to support me, become a Patreon. I want to say I appreciate all the support. Anyways, that was it. Let's get back to the video. The Mo Easy has a rank like this, so you can see that for Arena it's a little low, right? When I saw this record, I was like, no way, Kid Guardian. But I was wrong. I just think he's not that good with Arena. There are players that are better on a certain content, and it's more because that he plays RT a lot more. He did tell me that. Could see that he got G3 for Temple of Chaos, which is awesome. Even I didn't get Guardian. I actually never tried. I should really go for it because I do think that the resources are really good. And for World Arena, he has P1. I think those two are the important records. He has very fast dungeon times, 20-second giants, 21-second dragons, 26 necropolis, 23 for Steel Fortress, and 21 for Punisher Crypt. Obviously doing the solo R5s, he has no issues with the PvE stuff, so let's just skim through them real quick. Yup, he is doing the Dreaming Fairies and the Silent Death. Let's go look at his box. Now for Dark, there's a couple of Nav 5s. Eivor, Dark Eivor right there. Also has a Nikki, and then finally a Grogan. Now I was debating if I should use Grogan or Zeros, and I did decide to go with Zeros, so I'm sorry that I'm not going to be using this, but hear me out. I'll explain why when I get to Arena. For Light, he has Jessica, Veronica, Seimei, Han-Ur, which also something that I debated on using, but I still think the damage multipliers are a little low, especially compared to Zeros, so didn't go with that. Tianlang, I really think Tianlang pretty much is dead in the Arena defense meta right now. I think especially in the Guardian and up level, it's just because there's a lot of offenses where you don't have attack bar boost. I think fast offenses are just purely fast, where you don't even have to have a boost. Like for example, my offense that I have with the Ludia and Adriana. There's also multiple others with the single target snipes. So I do think Tianlang lost a big spot in Arena defense. He was using it. He is using it right now, and we are going to be changing that. Oberon, a Wedgeat. He has most of the LD5s that I have. And what's crazy is that he confidently told me that he has all of the RGB Nat 5s. There's nothing he's missing. If you see these, he has the counterpart of it. So it's actually crazy. His box is fully stacked. He's not missing a single unit. Crazy. Now let's look at the runes, because runes really dictate, I think, the rank that you could go for. Let's look at the quads itself. So he does have a Swift quad, 33, another 33 for Swift, so 2 in Swift, another 33, another 32, multiple quads on slot 1, slot 3 a 32, another 32 on Fatal, another 31 on Vio, a 30 on Energy, another 30 on Swift, 30 on Blade, slot 4, a 33 on Enhance, 32 on Energy, a 32 on Vio, a 30 on Nemesis, another 29, not a quad but still on Swift. Then for slot 5, a 33. Dude, he has a quad almost in every slot for Swift. Or maybe he has it for all slots. I didn't check slot 6. Vio 32. The scores aren't that bad either. This one's a little low. 31. I would go for legend grinds and gems. So so even for him, he has room for improvement, right? Just for doing R5 or just a raid, getting those legend grinds and gems. Another 30 there. And then finally for slot 6, a 33 on Focus, 31 on Vio, 30 on Energy. Is this one 30? Oh, it's not. So he doesn't have a quad for all the Swift slots. But nonetheless, very fast. A little more in depth, we could go into each set. Yep, Swift looks very good. 3 quads on slot, 4 quads on slot 1. Whew. Slot 3, 1 quad, okay. And even these could be better, right? Just getting the legend. And I'm guessing he's just using this specifically for things like this girl right here, where it needs the damage. But this too can also be 28. Man, because he has so many fast runes, he's probably more strict on the things that he is grinding. Wait, was there only 1 quad there? Oh, no quad on slot 4 too, so I was wrong there. Slot 5, 1 quad, that's it. Then slot 6, yeah, 29, 28. Well, these could be 28, so you know what I mean. There's a lot of room for improvement with enhancing these with legend grinds and gems, and I would work on that. Despair, 31, 29. Oof, even this one could be beautiful if he gets to work on this. Probably looking for an attack percent here to make it as efficient as possible. I like to get rid of the crit damage and just make it as efficient. 28, slot 3, 28. Okay, a lot of 28s, another +5 here. Probably want at least a hero there too. 28, which could be 29. This is a good, maybe even a more rune if you do decide to go for a more conventional more. 27, this could be 28 as well. A lot of Juno stuff, right? 28, 28, yup. And then finally here at 28 as well. A lot of runes like that. And then Will, 26. Ooh, Will's a little weak on slot 1, so Necro, maybe you only work on 30 there. Wasn't a quad actually. 29, 28. Yeah, Will definitely looks a lot weaker compared to the other sets that we've seen. Even the grind status of things look a little weaker. And then Vio, 28, 31, 29, 32. The scores look a little low. I wish they were higher. I mean, the runes are fast, but like this one too is only 162. It is a little unfortunate because the flat stats were pretty low. And you did your best on getting that. I wonder though if accuracy is the best bet here. If you really need the accuracy, I will try to pull it from another rune, like another rune that has the innate accuracy, because that could be 8% or 7%. Could kind of make up for the 9% you're getting here, and instead here put defense percent, a legend, and grind that, and again make it a little more efficient. That's how I play it though. It could be different for everybody. If you think that each rune is built for a specific unit and just for that, and you'll never change it, or you'll just change it to similar units, then it's fine. Yeah, I like this. I do want a legend hero. I mean a legend here for HP. Yeah, I just see some flaws here and there for all these grinds and gems. This one too, I would at least try to go for a 12 to be fair. It looks like a beautiful rune. Like this one, right? And if you give it a legend gem, why don't you give it a legend grind? So these are things that I love to work on. Perfecting runes, I think, is the most enjoyable part of the game. When I look at the final result, I'm just happy with it. Connecting to that, if you build a unit using those perfected runes, it just looks really nice, right? You're like, okay, at least this unit is on par with G2 or G3 players build. You just have that feeling. Maybe it's not, but at least you could say that these are my best runes on this unit and this is the best build. I I don't know, just some way of finding some kind of achievement and satisfaction. So those are the runes. They look really nice. For Arena, now I want to speak about the changes I'll be making here rather than just critiquing or looking at the defense, right? And offenses. So his best record was P3 with the 81% win rate. So I think this was the biggest problem. The win rate was way too low. Again, I think it's more of because he's not playing as much and the experience is not there. I think that's the part where a lot of people have a hard time figuring out what to hit. So with the improved AOs that I'm going to be making today, I hope I could show him that he could hit a lot of things and he could go up to a certain rank. Right now he's really low, but I do think we'll climb fairly quickly because of how small the leagues are. His defense rate was 24%, but I think with his current defense is really low. If you look at the past records, he rarely got over 20%. Yeah, he got 20% there, 24% there. You will get more defense wins on a certain week or certain weeks than the other because it all depends on the league you get assigned to. Certain leagues will be harder because there are more active people, there are stronger players, and certain leagues will be a lot easier because those players are absent. Even for Europe, 2 weeks ago when he got this P3 record, he got hit 57 times, so he was actually active. You can see that here he only got hit 35 times and he got C3 with the 83%. His victory rate was never that great, 78, 81, and I don't think that should be happening with his box and with his rune quality that we've seen. His defense rate was 22% by only getting hit 35 times. But if you look at the week before that or the 2 weeks before that, he got hit 226 times for the same C3 rank. He did hit a lot more, so maybe he was more active and maybe he was more residing in that conqueror rank, but you could tell there's a big difference depending on the league. But it's not just the league, don't get me wrong. I know, like I said, I pointed out he probably was more active in this league. He was probably trying to climb a lot more, seeing how many times he hit, but man, that victory rate is horrendous. So I did tell him that I do want to improve some of his AOs. I suggested it and he was okay with it. I only am going to go for 3 and I'm going to go with the 3 that I enjoy the most. So it's not going to be my Christina stuff because I do think it's not as effective today. There's too many strippers, so I think it is a lot easier to lose. I do like this one, so I did revamp this. I'm going to actually put these decks up that I'm going to be using. So I'm going to be using this. Also, I'm going to be using this because I just love this AO. It works really well. And then I'm going to be making a new one. I'm not using Grogan, so let's replace the Grogan one actually. So I'm going to get rid of this because it's slow, right? And he already has a slow one if he wants to use this. Although this is D-Rune, so maybe actually he wants to get rid of that. Who knows? But he will do some rune sharing, especially the Swift runes that I'm going to be using. I guess this is the one that's, yeah, scaled up. So this one is going to be used on extremely fast teams, and he does have an extremely fast Triton. Not now, because he is using it in defense, so he wanted the will, but we don't need that anymore because I am going to be switching to defense where we're not going to be using Triton. So it's going to be like around the 340 speed mark, I think. And then we're going to have a Truffle that's around 320. And then we're going to have a Zeros that's also around this speed, but hitting a lot harder. And then finally some math that's going to be a little faster than this, 230, so that it has a higher chance to follow up. But I think the damage wise is pretty similar. Then we're going to be changing this just to be a little more tuned, a little more, I don't know, I just didn't like the builds too much. It's a little squishy in my eyes, but this is Haging right now. I mean, the speed wise is great, but I think it could be better. This is Tricks. I also made sure everything had low crit rate, but you could see that these two have 25%. I did focus on getting like less than 20%. Layla, Despair Will, low on the accuracy. I don't like that. Really, I want these offenses to be kind of perfect. And then finally, Amber on Bio Will, which also I do think could be a lot better. And then we have this that I'm going to be sharing the Truffle and Zeros, but we're going to be having an attack buff. This is where we're going to be sharing the Triton's Swift build onto this Pure Vanilla Cookie. And then we're going to be having a Chiyu with a lot of speed up effect, around 320 speed still. And we'll be giving this guy a build so that it is better for the Triton, sorry, not the Triton, the Truffle to move, and then it will allow the Zeros to move and hitting a lot harder with that attack buff. So those are the 3 offenses I would be making. He had a lot of different offenses too. He could obviously be rerouting these or making them again if he wants to, but I do think to get his Guardian record, these 3 will be just enough because the meta is more of fast teams right now, fast defenses. Now for the defense, he's running this, and I do think it was switched. He was running Triton, but right now it's showing Camila. His tailing is extremely fast, but we're not going to be using it for the reason I spoke in the beginning of the video. And then he have Jin Kazima, which is on a damage build. I am going to be making this a little more tankier and a lot faster. It's not going to be Camila, but he had a Camila on Vile Nem. Again, seems a little squishy for his rune quality. And then finally a Vanessa on triple shield. Still going to be triple shield, just going a little faster in my opinion. What I'm going to be going with is going to be a Pyeongchar. And the reason why is that I like Jin Kazima because it always gives you a chance if the opponent brings in the first turn AoE damage dealer. Right? If this Jin Kazima is touched, the passive will go off, and then we will have a chance to stun. I do like that RNG aspect. I think defense is all about RNG, right? With the rest checks and stuff too. Unless they have a really strong sniping comp, then in that case, it's not going to work out. But if they don't have that, everything is going to go through rest check, and I do think Jin Kazima is the best for that, especially against AoE cleaves. And then lastly, because it is so popular these days, and I think it's really strong, especially with a tanky Pyeongchar, is going to be Vero, so that we could stop the dot teams, which I still think is very strong. And with this dot teams, and I do think it will stop, or at least have a chance for us to win against AoE cleaves. I'm gonna go with this defense and see how it does. I hope it does better, at least holding 20 something percent in the higher ranks. But we could tell that he was getting like 24, sometimes 10. So it really depends on which league he gets assigned to, and he's gonna do better or he's gonna do worse. I think he definitely did the worst on the last, or not here, I guess. There was a 10%, yeah, this one. But he was holding a higher rank, so just know that if you're holding a higher rank, people have better offenses, better runes. They probably know how to deal with the thing. So it's really hard to get a defense that is really good for everything. And I think that's the reason why a lot of people during a rush go for the stall defenses. Because yeah, you're gonna lose, but at least it takes long. Maybe that's something that you also want to rune up if you want to really get that Guardian 2 or Guardian 3 record, if it doesn't work out with the defense I make for you. So that's the defense. Those are the offense I'll be making. Let's see how that goes. Now for RTA, he is in C3. He has a 50% win rate with 1,000 games. He loves RTA. His best record was P1, which was last season. Oh, 2 seasons. Well, yeah, both seasons, right? He has 50 units runed up, and with his rune quality, I do think it's possible. But if I work on the improvement, obviously I won't be ruining everything, and it will be, you know, focused on what I try to play. Again, I'm a little rusty. Reason why I reiterated multiple times is if he's sure that he wants me to check out the account, and he was okay with it. So let's just go on with it. Megumi on 67 AC. I don't know. Whenever I use Megumi, it doesn't work really well. Ethna very fast, but not on Will. I do like these fast units on Will, like this one too. I mean, it is very fast. In your draft, will you always be moving first? Maybe if you win every time. But there are also cases where people do outspeed you. And in that case, then not having Will is kind of bad. Also, not having Will makes it hard for you to use it with Heigang, because Heigang passive doesn't work. This is very squishy. I don't like that. And I do think his runes are a little too spread apart with ruining too many units. And this is why we see builds like this. Shizuka looks decent. Sonya, Swift Blade, which is fine. I do like that he has 2,000 attack. It's decent. Jin Kazima, I did try to play it with it as well. Why the Endure rune though? Oliver, via Will. Oki, via Will. I do like this Oki build. Hey gang, this is a bad build. I think this is a bad build. I don't like it at all. Tian Lang's almost exact as the arena build, but I do want more accuracy. I don't know. Tian Langs are just like a hit or miss, right? Even sometimes when you give it a lot of accuracy, it doesn't do anything. So it feels bad to invest too much or too good of a rune on him. But he is a good to have for sure. Rakan on Vampire Will. Not very slow. I wonder how he's using him. Veronica, Swift Will. We all know that Veronica isn't as good as it was before. More, he's a counter more. Love that. Angela. Now, just to point something out, unless you pick more in the perfect scenario, I do like more with a little more speed, because if it has this much speed, it just never moves. But if it has at least like 70-80 speed, there is a good chance where it does It will have opportunities to cycle its turn, and then maybe you could make a comeback. Just a comment from me, maybe I'll make it that way. Angela, a little slow but very tanky. Okay, Wind Angel hasn't been used for a while, man. I think the Angel's pretty much died. Maybe the Fire Angel still works pretty well. Velo Jewel, oof. I don't like the build. Wedge at Swift Will, not on 100 res. Misty, Vampire, Nemesis. Revenge or Will, I think. Nem is okay, but I think it is the weaker out of the two, or out of the three. Sei Mei, Vile Nem. I do like Sei Mei. We'll see. Leo, not on the crit damage build. I am pretty sure you can find a crit damage build with similar stats. Trust me. Vero, Vile Nem. A Juno, Despair Revenge. Even Juno, I think you can find a better build, but it's not bad. Josephine, oh, a little squishy. Again, I think you can find a much better build. I think these builds all look kind of mediocre, most of them, because of the spread out runes. Like Layla, really? Are you going to try and get away with, well, 75 accuracy? Okay, maybe. But this is also a skill. You need accuracy here too. Abelio, okay, that's fine. Oh, wait, I do like a crit damage Abelio though. Crit rate, crit damage. Gu, Vile Revenge. Bolverk not on 100 res, okay. See? I know he has all the fun toys. But some of the builds I think look kind of mediocre. Attack, attack. Ooh, crit rate, attack. Attack, attack is the right build, I think. But, and it's a little slow. Nobroa, okay. Tanky. Jogan, not on 100 res, Swift Will. I think Jogan also is kind of dead right now, but people could still make it work. First turn teams, if they have golly rune quality. And if it's tuned pretty tightly, right? Because the nerf was the boost. Lucia, Triple Revenge, a little squishy. Do you really need 100 res? I mean, it is better, but it does look squishy. Maybe just go without res. Because you don't get controlled anyway. She's CC immune. Miles, okay, Vile Shield. Rakuni not on 100 res. I don't like these builds on units that don't have 100 res when you do want high resistance. Samath, counter build. Oberon, double Nem Will, I guess like a Leo thing. Leo counter maybe. Well, yeah, Leo counter. Vile Will, Jingzei. I do want to use Jingzei more. Higher crit rate, please. Federica, another slow. Whoa. Nem Will, interesting. Then there's Nikki, which definitely got a lot weaker. Great build though. I like 100 res on these. Surprising there's no Annabelle here. He also has the Eivor Swift Will. Nana on Despair Will. Wish she was tankier. Chakra Swift Will. Vanton. I know this unit is very strong right now. Vile Will. Verd. Double Revenge Will. I think Verd died hard. I think there's still that one Korean player that plays the Swift Verd with Moore and Chongpong. Miao Wang. Oh, hard hitting Miao Wang. I do like this. Vile Nem. Diana. Vile Will. Masha. Vile Nemesis as well. Vanessa. Despair Will. Like that build, but I like 100 res. Sierra on Swift Will. Ooh, what's this accuracy? I'm pretty sure this is not gonna work. Paul Phoenix, good counter unit, and finally Annabelle. Oh, you do have Annabelle on a crit rate build. Ooh, I don't like that build either. Not a good build to be fair. Crit rate is not the way to go. Go HP. Yep, for sure. So there are things I do want to change. I do think his box encompasses most of the units I will use. Let me see if there's anything else. Maybe Lamiela, because I know she's very strong. Store Gojo I love to use as well. Oh, Chow. I noticed he didn't have Chow. Damn. I like these hard damage dealers that could like end the match if things go well, right? It could wipe one unit right away. I think Fire Monkey Chow together is kind of nasty too if they go through. In the fire department, anything that I want to use? Carnal. I mean, that's just me, but I love Carnal. I think Sekhmet is good to have for sure. So some things might be replaced, but overall his box does encompass everything that you want to play. Like he has those first turn strippers, he has those swift threats, he has those damage dealers, so it just depends on it's just on preference on which playstyle you like to play. But obviously he came from me, so I'll have my preference, and you guys know what I like to do. So let's see if we could get that working. But yeah, I do think he should work more on R5. I think he should work more on R5. I think R5 is pretty huge. I think that's very important with his great runes that he currently has. There are still a lot of lacking grinds and gems, especially things that do need or probably preferably want legend grinds and gems because they're already so good. I think you really need to just be living in R5 for a while. Hope you guys enjoy the next improvements that come with this. I'm gonna work on Arena first, and then it'll be RTA. Let's see how things change. I hope it works out well. I'll see you guys in the next one. If you guys want account reviews like this, please join my Patreon. If you guys want account improvements that you'll see in the next videos, please join my Discord. If you guys want account improvements like what we're going to be seeing in the next videos, please join my Discord, fill out the Google form, and send me a message. And I'll let you know, depending on which improvement you get, you will be closer in the line. And if it's for RTA, that line is huge. That was it, and I'll see you guys next time.